Welcome back, everyone. We are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That's my partner in crime, Lewis.
Hello.
All right. Again, changing it up, changing it up. I like it. We're holding up too. One of the big things in the 80s was movie sequels, right? How many times do we go to the Cineplex and, see a movie with two, three, four behind it? And they're still really good movies. So we're going to talk about that. Some of our favorite movie sequels that actually took place in the 80s. So let's just jump right in, brother. Let's let you start it off and probably steal one of mine right away.
I'm going to do that. Cineplex?
Multiplex? I don't know.
I haven't heard that term in eons. Very, very
It's
cool.
the 80s. Come
It's
on.
very 80s. It's iconic 80s, but we're not drinking. All right.
Too early.
Let me see if I can do this strategically as possible and knock one off of your list. I'm pretty positive that you've got this one on your list. I'm going to bring up Evil Dead 2 with Bruce Campbell.
I hate you.
That's probably the only one that I'm going to step on your list with. But again, great flick, very sort of original, where they mixed comedy and horror and sort of set up for, yeah, there you go. Set things up for one of my all-time favorite movies, which was Army of Darkness. And unfortunately, that one took place in the 90s, so I can't really bring that one up. But again, pretty original flick. And I think that might have been the first role that actually Bruce Campbell sort of got some notoriety with.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's really known for the Evil Dead series. So I think the first one, but it seemed like it progressed. I remember actually seeing an ad for in the newspaper in the San Francisco Chronicle that Evil Dead 2 was coming out. And back then we had the internet. I knew nothing about it coming out. And I, was supposed to hang out with a buddy. He goes, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Hey, you know what? There's this movie called Evil Dead 2. I really want to see it." And he goes, "I think I saw the first one." I said, "Well, what do you think?" He's like, "Yeah, let's go see it." And I remember seeing it. I was like not really excited in the beginning because they had the scene with a car going across the bridge and it looked like some kid had filmed that in his backyard. Really poor effects, but then the movie goes, gets incredibly better. And I like the ode to the Three Stooges where they're trying, to poke him in the eyes and that kind of stuff. And Bruce cutting off his hand. Sorry, spoiler alert, people. But the movie's really old. If you haven't seen it by now, well, that's on you. But yeah, great pick. Love that movie.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's one of those ones where, we were talking about this when we started to do it, where we said, God, I'd like to find some sequels that were actually better than the original. And I would say that was better than the original Evil Dead.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I actually ever saw the first Evil Dead. I might have seen part of it and wasn't that impressed with it. It didn't have the sort of mixture of comedy and
Why do you
equilibrium,
have to
man.
juggle all the time?
I don't know, man. It didn't seem to have that mix. At least I don't remember it, and that really seemed to become a little more apparent in the second one. And yeah, I'm actually trying to. My list tries to focus on movies that were the sequel, where the sequel was better than the first one. I wasn't able to nail it on all of them because that doesn't happen very frequently, but I've got a couple of them in here that I think fit the bill.
Well, good, because I think the next one or the first one I have is gonna fit that bill. That's Aliens.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so the sequel to Aliens came out with James Cameron. I really enjoyed Alien, but I thought Aliens was a much better movie, way more excitement. It's kind of a cross between an action movie and a horror film. It just seemed like everything was turned up to 11. There's your Spinal Tap reference. And I think it's better than the original Alien movie. So James Cameron's Aliens, great movie. Really progressed, making the female character of Ripley a much more heroic character than she was in the original Alien. And again, it was just balls to the wall action, horror, suspense. I think it did a fantastic job of taking the original and just, like I said, everything was bigger, better, and was a better flick.
I'm gonna have to go back and check that one out. It's been a long time. Actually, either one of them, the Alien or Aliens. Um, so yeah, that's Sigourney Weaver in it, right? She was the main
Sigourney Weaver,
actress.
yeah, she's
Yeah,
Ripley.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's kind of funny because I didn't see the original Alien when it came out. I saw it years later, and I was visiting my buddy had a cousin that lived in Kelseyville, which is kind of the sticks of California, at least it used to be. And they were playing Alien at the drive-in, and we went to the drive-in, and I was like, wait a sec, where are the speakers? And it was the first drive-in I had ever gone to where you had to listen to the sound on your radio. We
Ah,
were watching Alien, and it was like one of the intense scenes, and there was three of us in a little pickup truck, so we were all, on the front seat, and my buddy jumped, and all of a sudden I'm hearing Spanish music. I'm like, the hell is this? I realized when he got freaked out, he had hit the knob of the stereo and changed the station. We're like, dude, really? But yeah, so that was my introduction to going to a drive-in and listening to the movie on your radio. So interesting
oh,
fact.
that- that's hilarious, man. I don't think I ever experienced that. I was always with the speaker on your door. But I think I went once, maybe twice to a drive-in theater. So.
Yeah, I grew up on the drive-ins, and we could do a whole episode about stuff that I saw in the '80s at the drive-ins. But good times.
Awesome, man. Well, like I said, I don't think that we're going to step on each other anymore. The next one that I've got is, it's funny because you think of at least I do, I think of this franchise as having really started in the 80s, but it really started in the 70s. But the sequel, which I again think was better than the original, squeaked in 1980, and that's Empire Strikes Back from the Star Wars trilogy. Well, more than a trilogy now. Uh, but I really enjoyed that one more than the original. It just to sort of quote one of the characters from Clerks, it just ends on such a downer note, right? I mean, it was just so much darker, and then Han Solo is like frozen, and you don't know if he's like dead or alive. It was just left so many questions, and yeah, I really dug the darkness of that one as opposed to the original. And yeah, when they came out with the uh the one with the what the hell? No, not the Weeples. So
Ewoks.
Ewoks. Thank you. Return of the Jedi. That started to take a turn for the worse there.
And the funny thing is that that line when right before Han gets frozen in carbonite is the big scene where Princess Leia goes, "I love you," and he responds with, "I know." That wasn't in the script.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so that was Harrison Ford came up with that, and they're like, yeah, it kind of fits the character. So classic. It's funny how you learn these things of that weren't supposed to be, and somebody decided to go with it, and it worked out really well. And that's probably the most iconic line from that movie. Sorry, except for Luke, "I am your father." So I prefer Han saying, "I know," but
Very
it's not on
cool.
my list. So I'm gonna go with my next pick, and that is Karate Kid Dose or Two. Um, I don't think it's as good as the original. I do not, but I really enjoyed the movie regardless. The fact that they go to Japan, the first, the movie starts where you see Miyagi and Kreese have kind of a showdown, which, you were kind of waiting for in the whole first movie. The love story, you get Peter Cetera in there. I just thought it was a fantastic flick, a great addition to the Karate Kid movies. An interesting fact is the original. You've seen Karate Kid too, right?
A long time ago, but I did see it.
So the beginning of Karate Kid 2 is Miyagi and Daniel LaRusso are walking to the car after the tournament. And Kreese is berating Johnny about losing it, losing the tournament and everything else. And he's kind of, attacking him. And Miyagi comes and intercepts the actions and kind of has it out with Kreese a little bit. Um, that was supposed to be the original ending of the Karate Kid. And so one of the things that I'd always wondered about, and I looked it up and I couldn't find it, was that filmed for the Karate Kid and then cut out and used for the second one, or did they never film it and just filmed it for the second one? I know, who cares, but I'm that guy. I care. And so I'd always wondered, I could never figure it out. And so years ago, we had they did a street food cinema out here with the Karate Kid. And William Zabka was there, Martin Kove from the original Karate Kid, and obviously Cobra Kai now. And they were there signing autographs and taking photos. And I was talking to William Zabka after we took a photo with him. I said, "Hey, can I ask you a question? It's always made me wonder." He goes, "Yeah, what's that?" And I asked him that very question. He goes, "We actually filmed that specifically for Karate Kid 2." He goes, "Watch the character of Dutch, which was played by Chad McQueen. I think he was Steve McQueen's nephew." He goes, "He's wearing a wig and a baseball cap because he didn't want to dye his hair again, specifically for such a short period." And now you watch it and it's the most obvious thing in the world, but for the longest time, I could never figure that out. So thank you, William Zabka. Got to say, him and Martin Kove, really cool guys. It was great to meet them and talk to them and interact. Really cool guys, and I'm so happy that they're kind of getting even more recognition now with the Cobra Kai series. So a little bit of facts for you there. I'm gonna drop that knowledge like it's hot.
Drop it like it's hot. Yeah, it's I think it's a really good question, man. I mean, I think it was very analytical, and I would have been curious as well. So yeah, I that's really awesome. It's awesome that you even thought to think to ask that.
Oh, it had been driving me nuts. And again, I don't know why I care, but it was something that bugged me, and I always wanted to know. And with the internet, you'd figure you'd be able to find it, and back then I couldn't. And so yeah, I just figured I'd go to the horse's mouth.
Nice, nice. Well, my next pick again is a movie that I felt was better than the original, and that is Poltergeist 2. I thought that the characters in it, like the Reverend, played by Julian Beck, just amazing. I mean, that guy was super super creepy, and just loved what he added to the second movie. Um, and the psychic, the Zelda Rubinstein, I think was her name.
Yeah.
Again, very just fit things very very well, and Carol Ann. And that's what echoes in your head when you think of that movie. But yeah, I felt that the second one just bypassed the first one by a lot, and I really liked the first one too.
That's a good call. I didn't really think about that. That one. I do really enjoy the original Poltergeist. I've seen the second one. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's not one I thought of. And it's kind of tragic. You read about, all the characters, the people that were involved in that movie, and all the tragedy that befell them. And it makes you wonder, like, if there isn't something to that, with so many of those characters passing away, including the Heather O'Rourke, such a young girl, and then the sister in the first one. Her name's drawing a blank, drawing a blank on her name, but I think she was actually killed by her boyfriend.
That's right. I think we
Yeah,
talked about that in
so
one of the other episodes.
yeah, it's pretty tragic, and but yeah, I got to give it another look. It's been a while. Next time you're out here, we'll go check out the Poltergeist house because it was filmed out here. So
Awesome. Yeah, definitely.
go see that. All right, well, I'm gonna move on, and man, this one might just be better than the original, but I probably would change my opinion any given day. And that's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Ooh, tough one.
And Raiders of the Lost Ark is phenomenal. I are you one of those people? A lot of people like Temple of Doom. I was not a fan.
Again, it's been a long, long time since I've seen them. I don't think that I actually have seen all of them. I really like the original, and I like the follow up. I can't remember if I saw any of the others.
Well, the follow up was Temple of Doom, so
Oh, okay.
the
Well,
Last
I really
Crusade has Sean Connery. So
okay. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. I enjoyed that one a lot, actually.
I really enjoyed that. I didn't care for Temple of Doom. I thought Kate Capshaw was annoying, and I couldn't wait for that to be over. But I thought Last Crusade, especially the dynamic between the father and son, Sean Connery, Harrison Ford, I thought it was great. The action was fantastic. It had a lot of humor. Again, is it better than the original Raiders of the Lost Ark? Uh, Ask me on any given day, I may change my mind, but boy, it's close. If it's not better, it's darn close. So, Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade.
Good pick, man. Excellent pick. Let's see. So my next one, when I was doing some research, I found that it seems that the original didn't have the actor in it that really made it sort of take off after I guess the franchise really started to take off. So I'm going to call out Mad Max Road Warrior. And the original flick, yeah, I thought it had Mel Gibson in it, but from what I was reading, it doesn't seem like it did. Very cool flick. Again, it's been a long time since I've seen it. The follow up even was very good. Beyond Thunderdome that had
Tina Turner.
thank you, Tina Turner. That was pretty cool as well. But yeah, the original, I remember the car. I just always wondered what kind of car is that, and I really didn't know. I thought that I knew. I thought it was an AMC, but when I did research today, I found out that it's a Falcon GT, which I don't think was actually sold here in the United States. It was an Australian car. Very cool car. And yeah, they murdered it out and made it look very evil, and the whole, again, that very dark feeling to it, end of times. Good flick.
I haven't seen The Road Warrior in a long time. I remember after seeing The Road Warrior, I got the videotape for Mad Max, and I couldn't get through it. I thought it was boring.
Wow.
Yeah. So, have you ever seen the original?
I don't think that I have.
Yeah, I couldn't, it did nothing for me. Maybe it was a bad time and I've never tried to revisit it, but yeah, it did nothing for me. The Road Warrior, great pick, great movie. Like I said, haven't seen it in a while, but definitely should probably revisit both of those. And I don't think I ever saw Beyond Thunderdome. I think they lost me with Tina Turner. I just never wanted to invest my time in that. So maybe I'll give that one a shot as well. So,
Awesome.
all right. Well, wow. This one has the number 3 in it. Rocky 3.
Nice.
I would, in my opinion, and people will disagree, and that's fine. But my opinion is better than Rocky. I think the original Rocky is a great movie. It's probably a better classic movie. But man, Rocky 3 is so much fun. You have Mr. T. I pity the fool. And even if he is, only comes up to my chin, it's okay. Still love Mr. T. Great Clubber Lang. You had Eye of the Tiger. You had Apollo Creed coming in and, helping Rocky train for the fights, and the montage of them running in the sand with like the tiniest shorts ever. Those apparently come back.
Grabbing each other's nipples.
Huh?
Grabbing each other's nipples.
Hey, whatever it takes. I love the movie. I thought it was so good. The only thing that bothers me is it's like he trains him to be a certain kind of boxer, and all that training like goes out the window in like the first round, and he goes back to his usual style and wins the fight. But even the ending where it ends with them back in the gym together, sparring, and you can tell it looks like they're both going to connect with a good punch, and end it there, and you get Eye of the Tiger. Man, it was such a fun film. My favorite of the series. I gotta say Rocky 4, the redo. Man, it moved up quite a bit. So if you get a chance to see that Rocky 4 redo, the director's cut, definitely check it out. But yeah, Rocky 3 in my book, best of the series.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it was a great flick. The whole Rocky series. I haven't seen like the most recent ones, but the ones that took place in the 70s and 80s were all pretty good movies.
Are you talking about Creed or?
Yeah, like Creed. I mean, I think that was the last one that they did, right?
Well, they just filmed Creed 3.
Oh, wow.
And so, Rocky is no longer part of that, those movies. So it's supposed to be Apollo Creed's son,
Wow, the
the
baton's
legitimate
been handed
son,
off.
played by oh God, I'm drawing a blank on the guy's name now. I'm sorry, but my buddy actually was filming. He's in Creed 3. I don't know if he's an actor in it or if he's a stuntman, but he was in Atlanta filming Creed 3 for many, many months.
Wow.
So
Wow.
shout out Aaron Alexander. You'll never see this, but I'm sure you're gonna be good in it. So can't wait to see that one.
Awesome, man. I'm really torn with my last one here.
Make it good.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Star Trek. Star Trek? Star Trek.
Track.
Star
Never heard of
Trek.
that.
Star Trek Wrath of Khan, and mainly because Ricardo Montalban was in it, showing cleavage.
You're easily impressed.
I was, man. It was just weird to see him, because you'd seen him on Fantasy Island. That's pretty much what I associated him with, and now he's like this villain that's like with this thick accent and like his cherry. My God, I need to go back and learn how to speak English. Hairy chest all like puffed out and stuff. It was weird, but he pulled it off. I liked the movie. I believe that's the one where Spock died, which again was a real downer. And whether that one was better than the original one, perhaps because the first one was interesting, but it was a little slow.
See, I've never been a Star Trek fan, or Star Trek. It's never been my thing. I remember seeing the first one, and it bored me to tears. I was so bored. I saw it in the theater, and I'm like, oh my gosh, is this thing gonna end? I didn't really care to see any of the other ones. The only other one I saw, I think, it was the fourth one, where they go to modern day San Francisco.
Yeah.
They had it, and I really that one I enjoyed, but that was it in the series. So if I had chosen a Star Trek or Star Trek movie, that probably would have been my pick. But yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen it. Just never been my thing. And as boring as that first one is, I'm gonna take your word on it that Wrath of Khan was much better.
Yeah,
So
it was. The first one was a little more, I guess, I don't know, cerebral is probably the wrong word for it, but it didn't have a lot of action. At least I don't remember it having a lot of action. It was more around the story of it. And Wrath of Khan was different.
so this my last choice is gonna be difficult. Boy. Um, all right, you know what? Who cares? I'm gonna do a bonus one. So I'm
Go
gonna do
for it.
two. So first one I'm gonna talk about, and I think it's better than the original, is Lethal Weapon 2.
That was on my list.
Was on your
That
list.
was
You're
that was the
done,
one
so you're good.
I was gonna bring that one up.
All right, so
So
good. We can talk
go
about
baby.
that. I thought it was great to see the progression of their relationship of Murtaugh and Riggs. You got introduced to Joe Pesci's character, Leo Getz. And I thought he was great, and they kind of gave him an expanded role as it went on, and I thought it got to be too much, but on Lethal Weapon 2, it hit the right notes. You finally had Riggs get revenge for finding out that his wife was not, in fact, in an accident, but she was intentionally murdered. The girl he's kind of reconnecting with, Rika, she gets killed. Um, Murtaugh on the toilet.
I've
Love
forgotten
that.
about that.
Yeah, and the fact that Riggs is gonna stay with him, and I was like, hey, his legs aren't gonna work, and I'm gonna pull him into the bathtub, and I just thought I left that movie, and I just like that was so much fun, and I did see that one in theaters, and I did think it was better than the original.
Yeah, I'll agree. Again, I don't remember a lot about it because it's been a long time since I've seen it, and I completely forgotten about that toilet scene. But I do remember. I again like the first one. I thought the first one was great. I remember liking the second one even more. And again, that's something that's pretty rare.
Yeah. Well, the other one I'm gonna give, I guess we'll give this an honorable mention because it's rare in a franchise that later on as a franchise moves, something happens with the franchise that makes it so completely iconic. And a lot of people forget this. And if you were, Drew Barrymore in the original Scream, it might be the death of you. But Friday the 13th, Jason Voorhees is not the killer. His mother's the killer. Okay, if Drew knew that, she'd be alive today. At least her character would have been. Second one, again, it's been a while, but he didn't wear this. In Friday the 13th, part 3, we finally get the Jason that we all remember, always think about. You have an image of Jason, and what's he wearing? The hockey mask. And it's actually in part 3 that he first dons the hockey mask and becomes the iconic Jason that we all know and love or fear. And so I had to give special mention to that, because it's very strange that in the third movie of a very long series of movies that something happens to make it such an indelible mark in the franchise. And again, you think of Jason, that hockey mask has to be there, and that didn't come to fruition until part 3. So I got to give a special shout out to that.
Wow,
And it was in 3D.
excellent, man. You're quite cerebral this episode, picking out very, very interesting facts. Very cool, man. I didn't know that. I didn't know that at all.
You didn't know about the 3D?
Oh, the 3D I knew, but I didn't know it was in the third episode where he donned his hockey mask first.
Yeah, so I gotta give it a little shout out to that. And I don't think I saw it in the theaters, but I don't, for whatever reason, I didn't see it in 3D. I might have seen it in the drive-in, which probably explains why I didn't see it in 3D. And a lot of those 3D movies in the 80s were really awful. Jaws 3D, I'm looking at you. But I forgot what movie it was. It wasn't a sequel or anything, but this was in the 80s, and there was it was like some action adventure Indiana Jones kind of rip-off movie that they did in 3D, and that was the only reason I went to see it. The movie itself was horrible, and I don't remember the name of it. But I remember there was a scene like the guy's looking at like a totem pole like fixture. All of a sudden, a spear shoots out of it right at the crowd, and I went, yeah, and I ended up throwing my glasses into the row behind me. Trying to get up, I'm in the center row, had to walk all the way out, go to the next row, walk all the way in, find my glasses, recover them, return all the way back and sit there. And yeah, so 3D is not always as much fun as you think, people. Let that be a lesson to you.
That's hilarious, man. That's the one we had the blue lens, red lens, right, for the 3D. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they used to give them every now and then. They'd show like a TV show, and you'd have to go like get a magazine or a TV guide and get those glasses at the 7-Eleven so you could watch the TV show in 3D.
KFY TV 20.
Yeah, kids today, they just don't know, Lou. We suffered. It's just not easy. That's why we had to walk to school uphill in the snow each way.
Of course, we lived in the Bay Area and it didn't snow, but that's okay.
Okay, poetic license. It's good. All right, brother. I think we've exhausted movie sequels of the 80s, but you picked some good ones. I picked some great ones. Anything you want to add?
No, man. I think it's really cool that you picked Lethal Weapon and that I didn't grab that one, because I was really struggling. It's like Lethal Weapon was a really good one. I should mention that one, but I'm glad that you ended up covering it anyway.
I'm surprised. I thought for sure you were gonna hit Aliens. That's why I was like, I gotta get that one out of there quick. The fact you didn't have that is surprising. So I'm glad I did.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I ain't got nothing.
You ain't got nothing?
Ain't got
All right,
nothing.
then, brother. Then go ahead, take us out.
Peace out.
Thank you, guys.